Well, this is the second edition of this North Sea Summit, but this one is a jumbo edition. The first time they had this type of summit, it was in Denmark last year, and it was only the 4 EU countries that have a coast on the North Sea, so that is Belgium, Netherlands, Denmark, and Germany. This time they've expanded that out to 9 countries. They've included the 2 non-EU countries on the North Sea, UK and Norway, and 3 EU countries that are kind of close to the North Sea, Ireland, France, and Luxembourg. Now, the prime ministers and presidents of all of those countries came here to Ostend on the Belgian coast. That is all except British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. He declined to attend for reasons that are unclear. But those 8 prime ministers and presidents are right now giving a press conference behind me in front of this giant boat that's actually used to install wind turbines out in the North Sea. Now, the focus here is very much on increasing Europe's energy sovereignty by increasing wind power offshore here at the North Sea. However, the topic that's really casted a shadow over this is the recent revelations about Russian espionage and a possible sabotage on the North Sea. That was unveiled by a Nordic documentary that came out last week that showed Russian ships pretending to be fishing boats and scientific vessels that were actually scouting out wind turbines, the power cables that connect them, with an aim, they say, to possible sabotage if war were to break out between Russia and NATO, to kind of throw Western Europe into a panic. Some of those ships that the documentary talked about were just right next to where I'm standing, where the Belgian wind turbines are located just off the coast here. So this was kind of an inevitable and unavoidable subject today, although they really want to talk about expanding that wind power. But of course, sometimes national interests get in the way there, and we've seen that actually with France and Belgium. France is really behind the game on wind power. Belgium is really ahead of the game. Almost the entire Belgian coast has wind turbines on it. France wants to build one of its first off the coast of Dunkirk, just next to the maritime border with Belgium. But it's causing a lot of controversy between the 2 countries. And we talked, France 24 talked to some of the local people that are going to be affected by that project. In 40 years, this retired Belgian couple has never tired of this view. But in their binoculars, they may soon see wind turbines. France plans to create a wind farm off Dunkirk. It's a disturbing prospect for this small Belgian seaside town, located just 2 kilometers from the French border.
We still have, especially in La Panne, an extraordinarily wide beach with the magnificent view which would deteriorate with these wind turbines. Belgium has only 60 kilometers of coastline.
That compares to nearly 18,000 kilometers for the French coasts. This project irritates the mayor of La Panne. Today he is meeting a French counterpart in a town on the other side of the border.
Monsieur le maire, bonjour.
Bonjour.
The 2 elected officials share common concerns about the wind farm, in particular its proximity to the coast. A pioneer in the development of this green energy, Belgium is building its wind parks further from the coast.
Like Belgium, there is already a project, but it is 40 kilometers away in the sea. If the French put it at 10 kilometers and the Belgians at 40, why not make a Franco-Belgian park 30 kilometers away, which would not bother anyone?
And France is far from being a pioneer in this field. We're still learning what's happening in other countries.
Late to the game, France wants to catch up. But the Dunkirk offshore project also worries environmental associations. The park would be located in a protected area crossed each year by many species of migratory birds.
This project is ignoring biodiversity issues. That's all. When you have such an area that is protected for migration and you still allow wind turbines, that means the protection is really paper, but that's it.
Belgium has filed several legal challenges against this project. At the same time, discussions are taking place at diplomatic level between France and Belgium.
Interesting watching that report, Dave, because there's a lot of acrimony between France and its neighbors because the nuclear power plants, so many of them are built right next to France's borders. Is this the same thing?
Yeah, and this is exactly what they're trying to overcome with summits like this. I mean, President Macron and Belgian Prime Minister Alexander De Croo have been all smiles here. They want to project a unified front on this energy front. Right now, they're still having their press conference, accentuating that cooperation is necessary in order to get these big projects off the ground. So I think the idea here is that you have less unilateral action on energy and that you have more coordination. But that's been difficult in the EU because energy sourcing is a national competence. The EU can't tell its member states what type of energy they can have and how they should organize it. And that has caused a lot of conflicts, not to mention between France and Germany. Right now at the podium, standing next to each other, you've got Macron, pro-nuclear, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, anti-nuclear. Belgium's phasing out nuclear, although that's a very contentious topic here in Belgium. And then on the subject of wind power, disagreements, as we heard in that package, about where to put those wind turbines. Can they be just 10 kilometers off the coast? Do they need to be 40 kilometers off the coast? Do they need to stay out of protected areas? There's a lot of disagreement. The idea with summits like this is that they forge some kind of roadmap or path together, coordinated. But again, that is difficult when so many of these decisions are not controlled at EU level, and technically every member state can go its own way.
Dave Keating, from what I can gather, is a windy Ostend that you're reporting from?
Yes.
Indeed. Okay. Many thanks, Dave, covering live for us.